I think we're live. We live, everyone? Yes, we are. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with the new stream, and that is right. We are live on this beautiful April 12th, 2024. I hope everyone's having a phenomenal day, night, afternoon, midnight, wherever you are in the world. I'm starting to have a great day myself, and it is time for an updated 2024 discussion, this time on the state of North Carolina. We haven't talked about the state in a while, so that's why I'm saying this is an updated discussion, because a lot has changed since the primary, and last time we talked about it was like 4 or 5 months ago. So I wanted to do an updated stream on the state of the race and all that good stuff. Now, before we continue tonight's stream, I hope you enjoy these streams. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or just want to support the channel even further, the best way is to send a super chat via, well, the chat. Again, I'll try to read through as much of chat as possible, but usually super chats are the best way to get questions answered. So I hope and recommend you support the channel any way you can. Alright, already a couple super chats. A glitch Eevee for 2, giving Mark Robinson the based one. Yeah. Obviously, we support Mark Robinson on this channel. We're going to be debunking some conspiracies today about that, by the way. Some of these people on Twitter, they're losing their freaking minds over this race. I mean, they repeated the same talking point 15 times over. We'll get to the tax stuff in a second, because that might be the most egregious example yet. A glitch Eevee for 5. Tax evasion is base. Too bad I don't have the balls to go against IRS for legal reasons. This is a joke. Yeah, well, the whole tax stuff, again, we'll get into it. That is bullcrap being pushed. This is like the 5th time we've heard about it. These idiots on Twitter, they think, oh, this is a breaking news story. This is going to sink Mark Robinson. We've heard about this quote-unquote tax evasion story like 15 times over. It's like we've heard about the Trump tax stuff 500,000 times since 2016. It's not going to change any votes. Follower of Christ for 5. I'm from North Carolina. Mark is probably going to lose. Happen to be proven wrong, though. Well, I would say it's a tough race. I think it's 50-50 right now. I've always said that. But I think Mark Robinson does have a shot, especially if Trump wins North Carolina by, I would say it's a tricky one, but if he wins by like 3 to 4 points, I think Robinson has got it for sure. Maybe 2. That might be pushing it, but I do think if Trump wins by like 3 to 4, probably 5 points, Robinson will be the next governor of North Carolina. That's why I think he has a good shot. These idiots that really think there will be a 20-point ticket split in the ballot, that's idiotic. Remember back in 2020? Remember how Dan Forrest, who, mind you, was not the strongest candidate for Republicans, went against Roy Cooper, the super popular Democrat governor. He only won by 4.5. He only outran Biden by like 6 points. So you're telling me the strongest Democrats had in North Carolina, which was Roy Cooper, who was the incumbent, ran against Dan Forrest, who you can argue is far weaker than Mark Robinson ever was, did slightly better, like 6 points better than Biden. You think Josh Stein, who underperformed every metric in the attorney general race, is going to outrun Biden by like 30 points? Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, think about that, people. Josh Stein won by like 0.5%, no, like 0.25%, for a seat that hasn't voted Democrat or Republican in like 200 years. The attorney generalship of North Carolina has not had a Republican since like the 1800s. But tell me that he's going to outperform everyone by 70 points. Absolutely pathetic. But before we get into North Carolina, I do have a rant, I guess, about this abortion stuff. Listen, for those that don't know, the genius that is Matt Walsh posted this pile of crap on Twitter. The 5 seconds he's not cosplaying as a judge now, he's pushing this crap. The strategy of Carrie Lake and Donald Trump are adopting on abortion right now is exactly the John McCain strategy of 2008 and the Romney strategy of 2012. They also tried to make a moderate Democrat position in hopes it would inoculate them against charges of being extreme and anti-choice. You may recall that the tactic did not succeed when they tried it. This is the genius of Matt Walsh. Listen, he's better than Ben Shapiro, let's be clear. He is the best of the worst at the Daily Wire. But what the hell are you talking about that those positions cost them the election? What? Abortion in 2008 and 2012 were non-factors. Hell, I guarantee if you did an exit poll question back then, if your most important issue was abortion, how did you vote? I guarantee you, especially before Roe was overturned, Republicans dominated that. Those are pro-life people wanting Roe versus Wade overturned. And what the hell are you talking about they became moderates? No. You can argue John McCain, didn't he want a constitutional amendment banning abortion? Like outright, yeah, we're going to ban all forms of abortion, no exemptions. I believe that's what he said. And abortion wasn't an issue back then. So what the hell is he talking about? Now, to be clear, I mean, the Carrie Lake stuff, that's a whole separate story, but Trump's position on abortion has not changed. Go back to 2016. You know what he said about abortion? We need exemptions. We need to allow women to have, some kind of decision early in the pregnancy. He's always been against late-term abortion. That's always been what he's against. Hell, what do you think Roe versus Wade did? So, I mean, this mind-bogglingly stupid statement of Matt Walsh, I'm just baffled at this. But what are you talking about that Donald Trump adopted the John McCain strategy? Huh? If you really think McCain lost because of abortion and same thing with Romney, you might be far dumber than I originally thought. And remember, Trump has done the most for the issue of abortion than any Republican. He's the reason it's gone right now, or at least it's sent back down to the states. So why should he campaign on it? All he said was, look, the issue of abortion is sent back to the states like it should have been. I'm not going to talk about it. It's up to the states to decide what the law should be. That's not becoming pro-choice. That's just having a consistent position on what Roe versus Wade did, or at least trying to overturn it. Overturning Roe versus Wade sent it back to the states. That's all it did. Now, granted, people are going to say, well, Trump said some bad stuff about the abortion law in Arizona. Here's the reality of it. All right, this is my opinion on the abortion law in the state of Arizona. For those that don't know, it was some law from like 1860 that banned abortion like outright, except for extreme circumstances. Here's my opinion. All right. It is not pro-choice to disagree with that law. I don't get why people think it is. Because that law, and some people think it's not far enough. Are you nuts? The law in Arizona bans abortion in every circumstance. Like, not even exemptions. There might be one exemption and that's it. You're telling me if you're opposed to the law, you think, okay, maybe that's too far. Maybe there should be some exemptions. Maybe it should be a heartbeat, whatever. Is that really being pro-choice? This is insane what these people think. Listen, I support what happened in Arizona, but even I look at the bill and think, maybe there's an argument here to be made that it's too far. Charlie Howard for 5. Republican areas in North Carolina still have enough votes to outvote the Democrat urban areas. If Robinson gets Trump-level rural turnout, he should win, in my opinion. Yeah, we'll get to North Carolina in a minute, but this abortion stuff is really pissing me off. And this goes both ways. I'm not just mad at these Matt Walsh types that think, oh, Trump's becoming a Democrat on abortion. No. His position has not changed. All that's changed is in 2016, Roe versus Wade was the law of the land. Now it's not. That's the difference. That's why Trump is not talking about it. And his statement on the Arizona law, you can argue he might have a point. it doesn't have exemptions in case of like rape and other reasons. Now, we could get into that debate later, but that's a consistent position. Most people agree, yeah, there should be exemptions for the life of the mother, rape, etc. Is that pro-choice? Is it pro-choice to have a 12-year-old girl not be allowed to get an abortion because she got raped? Is that pro-life? Listen, perfect world, we wouldn't have that problem. But there are cases like that where an exemption should be made. I don't agree with it, but those are the rare times it makes sense. These idiots don't think that's not a valid reason. No, that's actually bad. No, we have to allow no abortion, even in that extreme circumstance. And you have idiots saying we need the death penalty for people that get abortions. What? I don't get it. Again, you can disagree with me all you want about it, but in a perfect world, we wouldn't need that. But as of now, I really do think there should be some kind of exemptions in every law. Every state, I should say. I'm not saying, oh, that should be you get an abortion at the 40th week. I'm not saying that. But if there are extreme examples, there should be some kind of exemption made. Just my opinion, folks. Let's see here. Trump keeps flip-flopping from his actual position to the position I gaslit myself into believing he had. Well, I mean, Trump's position has not changed. Go back to 2016. He's saying the same stuff he said then as he is now. The only difference, Roe versus Wade, is gone. I'm critical of Trump on his latest abortion takes. I'm not saying Trump has to support a federal ban, but we gotta remember that opposing exceptions didn't stop us before, especially in the South. Well, most people want exemptions. They might, they might be pro-life, but they might say, maybe this is a bit too much, But again, I'm not saying, I'm opposed to law in Arizona. I'm just saying that it might make sense to make some exemptions. Just my opinion, folks. Just my opinion. But I do agree with the ruling, though. It's good for the pro-life movement. I'm glad that it happened. But I do think if you need to force some exemptions through, just do it. Make sure it's not like the late-term abortion crap they call as an exemption, but I'm just saying. All right. So that's just a take of mine. Again, you can debate that all you want. I'm getting sick of these abortion people on both sides. Not just the quote-unquote pro-life clowns like Matt Walsh. These people are not pro-life. All they care about is screwing Trump over with these quote-unquote these pro-life stances. Being pro-life doesn't just mean being anti-abortion. Yes, that's a big part of it. But there's other parts to being pro-life. Such as being pro-family. I hope you are ready to explain your pro-choice position on Judgment Day. I want to know what I said that was wrong. How is it pro-choice to say there should be exemptions? I'm waiting. Listen, I understand that abortion's wrong. Of course, in a perfect world, I mean, if I was made the dictator of America, I would outright ban abortion. But in a realistic scenario, you're gonna have exemptions. You're just gonna need them. It sucks, but that's the reality. Would you support a 22-week federal ban? That seems a lot more popular than 15. The problem with a federal ban is it can get overturned. And you open the can of worms of, okay, the second Democrats take over, they're going to allow abortion up to birth. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. But I would say that there should be some kind of way to make states like California ban abortion in the late term. You just can't allow these states to have abortion the 40th week. Everyone agrees with that. Basically, we can oppose exceptions without ruining our reputation. We've done it for decades now, but suddenly Republicans are making it sound unelectable, even in deep red states. Well, no, I've always supported exemptions. I've always supported some kind of exemption to abortion. Because there are circumstances where, okay, it's awful, but it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. But again, a perfect world, we wouldn't need that, excuse me. Now, speaking of both sides, I'm not just mad at the Matt Walsh of the world, saying Trump is becoming a Democrat on abortion. I'm kind of pissed off at Kari Lake right now. What the hell was that video saying, I support the woman's right to choose? Are you freaking kidding me? Listen, I understand you're in Arizona. That state is very cucked on an issue like abortion. But you don't have to say, I support the woman's right to choose. So far, I think that's the one mistake she's made. Because all she's doing is alienating pro-life voters from her cause. The Trump stuff's not going to change anything except the Matt Walshes of the world who, they weren't going to vote Trump either way. They're just using this as an excuse to vote for frickin' RFK or something, who supports abortion up to birth, but whatever. The point is, Kari Lake made a dumb mistake. I don't get why she did that. I really don't get why you would say, I'm the pro-choice candidate. Oh, I support that. I like Kari Lake, I support her, but I can't support that. I mean, you can't just say that. Again, granted, you could just say, leave it to the states and that's it. But create pro-family policies at the federal level, something. But just don't say, we need abortion. No. Yeah, but there's a long history of pro-life conservatives opposing exceptions. It's never stopped this before. Why is this suddenly now a problem? Because now Roe versus Wade is actually overturned. And you can change laws in many states. That's the difference. Before 2022, the pro-life movement, it just sat there. They didn't do jack shit. But the second Roe versus Wade is overturned, well, that's a different story because now you're talking about law. You're talking about, okay, we have to craft legislation that works, that's popular, that makes sense. That's just my opinion. I've always thought that, heartbeat bans should be I would say eventually should be the consensus, but we're not there yet as a country. Sadly, but it's true. If Arizona Republicans want to win, they must nominate Mark Lamb as the nominee. He's not going to win. Kari Lake's the nominee. Recent polls have her at 41 to 44. Yeah, she's not looking good right now. I just don't see Kari Lake winning. She's making some dumb mistakes right now, but we gotta see. I feel like good messaging to attack Biden in 2024 is Biden allowing illegals to enter our country and raping our women and children to begin with. Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, talk about that. You don't have to talk about, oh, we gotta ban abortion at conception. You're not gonna get that. Why even mention that? Alright, either way, point is, this abortion stuff, I'm pro-life, I'm not saying I'm pro-choice, but just stop claiming Trump is secretly pro-choice now. His position has stayed the exact same. These idiots just want a reason not to vote for the guy. And they're gonna complain about, oh, if Biden wins re-election, he sucks for 4 more years. Oh my goodness, this guy sucks. These people have, reminder, if Biden wins, these clowns have no excuse, no reason to complain about Biden. They will vote for it if they vote for RFK. Because a vote for RFK, if you're a Republican, is a vote for Biden. Now, when I say I oppose exceptions, the vast majority of even pro-life conservatives accept exceptions in cases of the mother's life being in danger. Most just debate rape and incest. Well, yeah. Obviously, the mother's life should be an exemption. I'm talking about, hey, she actually has a serious health issue if the abortion doesn't happen. That's a whole different story, but if it's just, well, there's a 0.001% chance that 40 years down the line, she could have an illness. We have to have the abortion. No, we should not allow that. But, all right. Enough of the abortion stuff. I want to talk about Mark Robinson. So, for those that don't know, there is a new conspiracy. I should say conspiracy. There is a new talking point in the North Carolina governorship race. This talking point is Mark Robinson doesn't pay his taxes. 30 years ago, he missed paying the federal income tax 5 years in a row. This is the new talking point by Democrats. He cannot win the North Carolina governorship because he didn't pay taxes 20 years ago. Yeah. This is their new secret weapon to beat Robinson. He didn't pay taxes. I mean, if this is what you got on the guy, for one, they have used everything in the kitchen sink against this guy, but honestly, you're telling me you have him not paying taxes 20 years ago. And mind you, he did pay the taxes. That's another thing that's been debunked. But point is, we've known about Mark Robinson's financial issues for years. We've known about this. People make it sound like that, oh, these financial issues are not new. We've known about this for 5 years. For those that somehow don't know, Mark Robinson, I believe, was a factory worker in the 90s. I believe, yeah, that it was a factory worker or something. And his job was shipped overseas, and he lost his job in the late 90s. I believe that's what happened. And he got a bunch of loans to pay off the debts, and then he got in a big financial hole. He filed for bankruptcy like 5 times. For a couple of years, during the bankruptcy fiasco, he did not file the income tax for 5 years. But after that was dealt with, then he filed the income tax for the prior 5 years. The point is, these people make it sound like that, oh, he's just lazy and he didn't want to pay income taxes. That's not what happened. He still paid the taxes he missed, just during that time frame, he was bankrupt 3 times over. He tried to start a business, didn't go too good. He tried to get a bunch of other loans to pay off his other debts. He couldn't pay them back, and that's what happened. It was like $1 million in debt. It was bad. Godsmack Ear 69 for 10. I'm tired of these so-called experts claiming that North Carolina is a swing state. It's not. It's MAGA territory. Trump should campaign there solely for Robinson and utilize most of his resources in the Rust Belt. I agree. Mark Robinson, I think, can win. These idiots really think that, oh, Mark Robinson's going to win or lose by 15. I guess it's possible, but at this point in time, are you nuts? I don't get why people really think that he has a shot, Josh Stein's going to win by 30. People actually believe that. They're saying that Mark Robinson's a weaker candidate than Doug Mastriano. Bull crap. So they attack a man for being unemployed. Yeah, that's what happened. And I think it says right here, yeah. Robinson filed for bankruptcy on 3 occasions, 98, 99, 2003. He also been sued several times for non-payment of debts. So, yeah. So the time he didn't pay the income tax, which he did eventually, that was the same time frame. He was unemployed, bankrupt. He was in so much debt that he got evicted like 3 times. This isn't a scenario where, oh, he had plenty of money. It's like a Trump thing where he claimed not to pay taxes. It turns out he did. No. Mark Robinson was bankrupt. His job was outsourced to frickin', I think it was Mexico, I think he said. But either way, this is what they got in the guy? After using everything in the book, he's an anti-Semite, he's a racist, he's a white supremacist. Yeah, that's their talking point, mind you. They call a black dude a white supremacist. They really think his Uncle Ruckus from the Boondocks. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? It's unbelievable, but they keep spouting this crap because they realize, hey, wait a minute. He can actually win. I mean, what haven't Democrats used against this guy? These idiots on Twitter, they really think, oh, Democrats haven't used everything yet. This same story, he did not pay his income taxes, or quote-unquote didn't pay it. He actually did. Uncle Ruckus. But point is, this story was regurgitated 15 times back in 2022. Look it up. And that story was scrubbed the day this was released. You can't make this up. They're recycling the same news story over and over and over again. But oh, this time it's going to work. Man Milk for 2. Is there any real future for GOP in New Hampshire, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Connecticut? No. Listen. There could be some congressional districts here and there, like maybe Connecticut, Oregon, Washington, but states like Colorado, New Hampshire, no. No way. Let's see here. You don't understand. The Dems have a lot more on the guy. They just have not used it all yet. Trust me. Yeah, I'm sure of it. Listen, look at this wiki page. This is everything they say about this guy. Anti-Semitic. He denied the Holocaust, which that's not what he did. This is the crap they're pushing. He's a transphobe, he's controversial, he made fun of Obama. They have used everything against this guy. And they say, oh no, actually, we have more on this guy. Really? If you have more on this guy, why the hell are you using the same talking point 15 times? I'm not even kidding. The latest story about him, not paying his taxes, which when you read it, he did. What happened was, when he was bankrupt, he didn't file the income tax. And then he filed back taxes like in 2005, I think it was, to pay for those years. This story was released 3 years ago. And the second this was released, magically, that story from, I think, WRAL, I think it was, I can't remember who posted it, from 3 years ago, it's gone. They scrubbed it. I mean, just insane. Let's see here. What do you think is the next cope about Robinson? Well, they're gonna use the whole, oh, he's a transphobe again. This is not gonna work. It hasn't worked already. It's not gonna work now. I don't know. I don't get why people think now that it's gonna work here. It's gonna work this time. It didn't work the first 30 times, but the 31st time, it's like Trump. We're gonna get him this time. No, you don't. Let's see. Now the worst nominee was Bill Graham. A total rhino endorsed by Tom Tillis. Yeah, Bill Graham was awful. It's not even a good candidate. No. People gotta understand. The races he won as Attorney General was in a position that Democrats have won since like 1890, I think it was. This isn't a seat that, Republicans have won for decades and lost because of Stein. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Josh Stein, as the incumbent, while vastly outspending his opponent, right, in 2020, having no serious challenger, realistically, I should say a serious challenger, I should say a good challenger. He nearly lost. That seat hasn't voted Republican, the Attorney Generalship, in like 100 years. So yeah, this is the crap they got in Robinson now. And let's just look at the current state of polling, because another thing, the polling. They're going to use this as the only source of, oh, Mark Robinson's down by 8 points, it's over. While every other poll has it either as a slight Stein lead or a slight Robinson lead. Robinson's up by 2 according to Signal. Which, reminder, Signal back in 2022 was the most accurate pollster in North Carolina. But on top of all of this, Josh Stein is an underperformer compared to polling. But funny enough, so was Roy Cooper back in 2020. Go back to polling. So it's what, April? In the same time frame, look at this. They had Cooper up by 9, 13, 20, 17, 13, 19. Against, I think it was Forrest, right? Yeah, Dan Forrest, the lieutenant governor. They had Roy Cooper winning by 20 points. He was going to win in a landslide, nothing's going to happen. And even before Election Day, hell, even on Election Day, they had Cooper up by 12, 7, 10, 10, 11. There was one poll that was remotely accurate. He won by just under 4.5 points. North Carolina is notorious for bad polling, especially at, say, the governorship level. In recent years, I should say not governorship, but like for Republicans. I mean, look at this. He won by 4.5 as the incumbent, mind you, despite every poll having up by 10, 20, 30 points. These same polls barely have Stein winning at best. At worst, like Signal, they have Robinson slightly ahead. Excuse me. How much does Trump need to win to carry Robinson? Well, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. And I mentioned this a little bit, but I would say probably 2 points at best case scenario. Like Trump wins by 2, Robinson could win. If Trump wins by 6, I think Robinson wins easily. So I think it's somewhere like 3 to 4 points, and it's more than likely Robinson wins. 5 to 6, it's going to be Robinson. If it's below 2, I don't know. That's a tough one. Show us Stein's last election when he won by 0.25%. Yeah. This is the electoral juggernaut, everyone. Josh Stein. Let me pull this up. Let's see. I gotta find it. Yeah, right here. So, Josh Stein. There we go, found it. In 2016, okay? 2016, Josh Stein won by 0.5 point. Wow, that's real strong. And once again, look at the polling. Every poll except 2 had Josh Stein winning, and not just by a couple of them by 1 point, a bunch of them by 2, 4, 7, 4, 4, right before the election. They had Josh Stein winning by 4 to 5 points. He barely won by 0.5 point. Again, just for context, let me bring this up. Let me bring up 2012. Or actually, 2008. Best example. This is how Democrat this position usually is. Historically, Democrats dominate the attorney general race in North Carolina since 1896 or whatever. Yet Josh Stein barely won. Prince is riding for 5. As someone who lives in North Carolina, Robinson's a favorite. Stein vastly underperformed in 2020, despite being an incumbent. I know Biden and Robinson voters. There might be some. But I mean, just look at this. And the funny thing is, in 2020, he did worse. Despite being the incumbent and spending God knows how much money, having no serious primary, while the Republican primary, meanwhile, was a shit show. Look at this. It was a mess. And look at the polling. D+7, D+5, D+5. You had one poll in early October that had the Republican barely up. And that was it. Granted, not that many polls, but he won by 0.25%. That's it. This is the electable candidate that's going to win against Mark Robinson. Josh Stein had the worst performance of any attorney general candidate for the Democrat side in decades. Despite being the incumbent, despite outspending Republicans by an infinite amount of money, he barely won. And I could probably look this up. Spending. I'm actually curious. I want to see how much money was spent by Josh Stein's campaign. I'm actually very curious here. Because he barely won. All right. 2020 election. Let's see. North Carolina. I gotta look this up. So, right here. Back in 2020. Right here. He outspent the Republican 11 to 1. 11-1, and he barely won. Look at this. He spent $12 million. Jim O'Neill spent $1.1 million. And Josh Stein, just somehow barely won for a position that has always voted Republican. Let's just go with the 2024. Let's see how that's going. Let's see. Races, governorship. Right now, Josh Stein's only up 2-1 on fundraising. Do some math on that one. If he barely won with an 11-1 advantage over Jim O'Neill, he's fundraising wise, he's only up 2-1 over Robinson. I mean, and Robinson united the party real quick. He didn't go through a gauntlet of a primary. Yeah, there were clowns like Bill Graham, but he barely outfunded everyone. Or he's barely outfunding Robinson in comparison. So I don't get why people really think that this is always going to be a Democrat sweep. Prince is right for 2. Biden and Robinson voters are mostly seniors. Yeah, I would assume so. Always voted Democrat, not Republican. You misspoke. Yeah, either way, it has always voted Democrat. And Josh Stein barely won. I mean, this is just, I don't know what to say. I don't know why people really think that he's going to lose by 30. When even Josh Stein in the Attorney General seat, which is much more Democrat, he was barely able to win. Granted, it's an Attorney General seat. That's a whole different set of circumstances. But the point is, he had the worst performance of any Democrat in decades. And he barely won. So if we apply the same math to the governorship in 2024, Mark Robinson has a good chance. Josh Stein needed an 11-1 advantage just to win as an incumbent. Now, he's going against Mark Robinson, who, yeah, he's outfunding him, but instead of 11-1, it's 2-1. Dan Bishop is a GOP candidate. Who's the Dem? I think Jeff Jackson. I believe it is Jeff Jackson. Rap, would you be embarrassed if Republicans don't even take back the Senate being 50-50 and Biden wins in general? It's more likely than you'd think. It's possible, but I just don't see that happening. For the simple fact that you would need Republicans to lose Montana. That's assuming that, Tester outruns Biden by 20, and same thing with Brown. I just don't see both that happening. Rap, who wins, Jeff Jackson or Dan Bishop? I think Dan Bishop does. Jeff Jackson's just a meme. He goes on TikTok and that's it. That's all he does. Oh, he's a great candidate. No, he's not. He just goes on TikTok daily and that's about it. I thought North Carolina had a Republican supermajority. They do. But you still want the governorship. You still want control of the state government. And by the way, for context on the governorship's funding, Roy Cooper as the incumbent outspent Roy Cooper 4-1. Yeah. He spent 4 times the amount as Dan Forest. And just like Josh Stein, he kind of underperformed. These are not good numbers for Democrats. You can't just say, oh, you're coping. How am I coping? I want to know how I'm wrong here. Because this is just history from just 4 years ago, from 2 years ago. And Republicans usually outperform polling in North Carolina in the recent era. Rapid's percentage, how likely is Biden to win North Carolina? I reckon he has a 3% chance despite him likely win the general. I think he has probably a 10%, maybe. Roy Cooper outspent Roy Cooper. I meant Dan Forest. You get what I was saying. Jeff Jackson screwed himself with the young liberals with his TikTok vote. Wait, what? Oh yeah, he pissed off the TikTok crowd. It's like, if your candidacy's dead because of one vote like that of TikTok, that's not good. Not good at all. Let's see. Bishop might win because the Attorney General race for the Democrats said it was a brutal primary because there was a far left candidate. Yeah, wasn't Bishop, like, basically uncontested? Let me look this up. Yeah, Jeff Jackson was unopposed. Yep. Democrats, yeah, he barely got 50%. Barely. And had all that money. And polling right now is worthless. There's really nothing. So. What'll be funnier? Little election Twitter coping to Trump winning or little election Twitter coping to Mark Robinson winning? I would say Mark Robinson winning because these idiots have this theory. They really developed this theory that there's no way Mark Robinson could win. If Robinson does win, that would be the most hilarious FU to some of these people because they're so cocky about it. They're like, oh, there's no chance that, Jeff Jackson loses in North Carolina. No chance that Josh Stein loses. He's an electoral god. I remember hearing the same stuff in 2020 about Republicans. That didn't go too good. Oh, an electoral juggernaut here and there. They got crushed. But yeah, these idiots really, they have deluded themselves so much that they really think Mark Robinson has no shot of winning. The same crap that Republicans, including myself, did back in 2022. I've learned. Never take these races for granted. Never say you're going to win no matter what. There's no need to panic. You're going to win in a red wave or a blue wave. You don't have to say that. Robinson literally did better than Trump and Tillis in 2020. These Dems are high on crack. Well, again, you can argue, well, that's lieutenant governorship. But yeah, he outperformed Trump. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Rap, in terms of presidential race, I put North Carolina likely margin, like Republican, and save Republican probability. So Trump wins 5 to 6 points over Biden. In that case, I think he wins. Let's see here. Man Milk for 2. Search up Lulo Schwartz is the craziest thing ever. What? Huh? What is this? Oh, yeah, the neocon guy. Was this the guy that was in the Bush administration? Yeah, it was. This guy. Also, yeah, if Mark Robinson wins, I expect them to consolidate GOP support in North Carolina, kind of like Ron DeSantis did in Florida. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've heard of this guy. Yeah, this guy was like a neocon or something. Something crazy like that. Yeah, it was. Remember him. Prince you're right for 2. Trump just endorsed Dan Newhouse's primary opponent. I saw that. It was a NASCAR driver. Who's that clown? It's some neocon from the early 2000s. That's all you need to know. He's a Jewish Muslim neocon who's transgender critical of Trump. I didn't know that last part, that first part. Or actually last part, yeah. Okay, how is they even, wait a minute, hold up. I didn't know it was that deep. I knew he was Muslim, but a Jewish Muslim neocon who is transgender. I don't even want to know. Let's see. Hey, Rap, do you think Biden's seen a bit of an uptick because we are closer on the summer? I think Dems tend to have their largest lead during this season for whatever reason. Yeah. For whatever reason, Democrats do the best in the summer, it seems like. That's when their polls are the best, but I don't know. Maybe because, like, university's out, maybe, and people are like, oh yeah, I can actually take polls now or something. I don't know. I don't think you understand the facts. North Carolina will be easy for the Dems. This is because all the new stuff pulled from Robinson regarding taxes, which it really hurt him. This tax stuff is not going to squat. This is the 15th time they've said it. He didn't file taxes 30 years ago. It's not going to impact anyone's vote. Yes. I'm going to vote Democrat because this guy didn't file taxes. Hell, would you really be surprised if this somehow helped Biden, or not Biden, Robinson? His support goes up because he didn't file taxes. Yeah, screw the government. I don't want to file taxes. He did the right thing. Yeah, what new stuff? This old bullshit. Yeah, This stuff is bullshit. This stuff is not breaking news. It's just the same news over and over again. They regurgitate it 24/7 and claim it's new. Breaking: Kentucky legislator removed the ability for Beshear to appoint a successor. I did see that. Most conservative person in Utah be like, oh yeah. Muslim, Jewish, neocon, transgender. I can't believe that's real. Like, why? I'm gonna vote for the guy who raised my tax because his opponent didn't file the taxes a few times 10 years ago. Not 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago, he had to file taxes because he was bankrupt. I just find it hilarious that's what they got on him. That's the big news. I thought they had some bigger stuff than before. Born a Jewish man and converted to Islam in the 90s, was a neocon, became a trans woman. What the hell? The neocons, everyone. Neocons. They are not intelligent people. Not intelligent. We live in a society. I agree. Beshear endorsed Stein and made a lot of endorsements, which kind of makes you think he might run for president in 2028. He never gets there's no pathway to nomination for the guy. He's white and he's like too conservative. He's not even conservative. I mean, he's a Democrat. A generic Democrat. That's conservative now. He's gonna have no shot at the nomination. They don't want a white man. That's a fact. That's a Democrat Party. They don't want a white man. I mean, identity politics are gonna screw them over. Oh, let's see here. Roberts going to win by like 4.5 points. I wouldn't go that far, but I think he could win. If we assume Trump wins by 4 to 5 points, yeah, I could see Robertson winning. Though I do agree with, hold on, with it. DeSantis will not be the GOP nominee. He'll run again, but he destroyed his chances. Yeah, no. For those that think that DeSantis has any comeback chances, no, it's done. That was it. He had one chance and he blew it. It's pretty sad. He could have had everything. He would have been the nominee. More than likely, would have been the next president after Trump, but he couldn't keep his mouth shut. He listened to the wrong people, and yeah. He ran one of the worst campaigns in Republican history, but I think even if his campaign is decent in 2020, some Trumpian candidate likely will win. Yeah, oh, easy. That's a problem with DeSantis. His campaign was so bad that even if he runs the greatest thing since sliced bread, he would get crushed. Joe Biden is really an old white dude. Well, different. I mean, it took quite a bit for him to win the nomination. He needed Obama to basically, well, I guess you could say blackmail the other Democrats. Make backroom deals with them to endorse him. That's what happened. I expect 2020 to be a GOP battle between Glenn Youngkin, Josh Hawley, and Greg Abbott. Yeah, something on those lines. Ted Cruz for president. No. Ted Cruz not run. If he runs again, he would get crushed, but DeSantis had no chance in being the nominee. I've been saying this since early 2022, but the party's too Trumpian for him to win. Well, that's not even true. He was seen as the successor to Trump. Most Trump supporters supported him. They liked him. They're like, hell yeah, he's the next president. But he didn't keep his mouth shut. He kept going on and attacking Trump and antagonizing his supporters. You get these clowns, the DeSimps. They ruin everything they touch. So, all right. Who runs in 2028 if Trump loses? It would be a shit show. The Republican Party would be dead. Because if Trump loses, good luck. The party would be dead at that point. But DeSantis has a Supreme Court justice to troll the Democrats. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. The only one that would, like, a politician become a Supreme Court justice, it would be Ted Cruz. That's the only one that makes kind of sense, because Trump hates DeSantis and Cruz kind of whatever, but man, no for 28 primary. Youngkin, Hawley, Robinson, or Paul. I would support Mark Robinson in that scenario. Easy. Youngkin I like, but he's just not going to win the nomination. Hawley, I think it's kind of a meme, but Rand Paul, just no. He has no shot at the nomination. He's not, again, I would have voted for his father, Ron Paul, but Rand Paul, nah. Garrett ran a car for 5. Is there a solid majority that supports Biden? Moderates on election Twitter think Biden is secretly popular. No! Hell fucking no. If he has problems with Muslims and white progressives, do you really think he is super popular with moderates? He might have some popularity compared to other Democrats, but, like, for example, or compared to other groups, but the only reason that's the case is because these white, quote-unquote, moderate voters, these are the boomer generation. These are the people that never voted Republican. They just think Biden's the greatest president ever. You know, those are the boomers. Those are the ones that grew up during Vietnam. You know, those are not the ones that are moderates. So, but yeah, I mean, the senior vote is arguably the best group for Biden compared to 2020. It's still pretty bad. It's like disapprove plus 15 or whatever. Yeah, he's a lower approval than Biden or Trump. Biden has a lower approval than Trump. I mean, there's no secret surge that, you know, Biden is super popular. He's going to turn this ship around. It's not going to happen. Biden will easily win against, hold on, bleh. Biden will win independence in 2024. Yeah, but independents in this country are Democrats, so at least now they are. Because the independents that voted for Trump in 2016, they just became Republicans. At least a chunk of them did. Hot take, but I think Cruz, Hawley, Lake, maybe Vivek, and Nikki Haley, even though she won't win, will be the potential frontrunners in the primary. You know, Cruz, I think, is just a meme. I just don't see that happening. But the other 4, yeah. I think I could see Hawley. Lake, I don't know about that one, but Vivek, yeah, I see him running again. Nikki Haley, yeah. She wants to be the president, so. Biden probably narrowly wins independence, but that's not enough. He won them by, like, what, 15 points? He needs to win them by, like, 15 points to win. In 2028, identity politics would prevent capable Democrats like Newsom or even Whitmer from attaining the nomination. Instead, reward the nomination to a Dem that everyone knows will be crushed. Well, yeah, that's a problem with identity politics. It's going to screw the Democrat Party one of these years, and it's going to be funny when it does. They won't pick someone that has a chance of winning. Well, Newsom's not a good candidate, but it's just an example. Newsom would have a better shot than Kamala Harris, at the bare minimum, but they're going to pick Harris over Newsom. Absolute buffoons. Again, Newsom would still lose, but at least he could argue, well, maybe he's a decent candidate. Maybe in a best case scenario, he can pull off a victory. Kamala Harris, no. She's more hated than Biden. I don't know what to say. The most electable ticket. Christian Haley, oh good lord. Yeah, most electable, getting like 5 votes. Biden's pissed off Muslims, white progressives, blacks, and Latinos. Yeah, he's pissed off every major Democrat group. Not good for him. Trump should just give Nikki Haley's secretary say to shut her up. No. Don't let her near the cabinet. Don't. You're going to end up with a Lyndon B. Johnson situation. Don't do that. I hate to talk like that, but just true. You do not want someone like Haley anywhere near the presidency. Even if it's a position in the cabinet, it would not end well. You know she wants the presidency so bad. She would do anything. Would you really be shocked if she pulled a Lyndon B. Johnson? Try to attempt a coup or something crazy? Would you be shocked? Man milk for 2. What's a Kelly, Biden, Hobbs, Masters, Lake / Biden voter? I'm guessing just some independent that hated Trump, I guess. That's only thing I can think of. They hated Trump but liked Masters and Lake. Yeah, Secretary of State Haley would be awful. You talk about Hillary Clinton being bad, she would be 10 times worse. Trump should give her the manager job at Wendy's to shut her up. I agree. Haley voters will all vote for Biden, which furthermore hurts Trump and will probably cost him the election. I have done 3 streams on this at the bare minimum. These voters are not Republicans. These are Democrats. They're going to vote Democrat no matter what. And the actual Republicans that voted for Haley, they're breaking for Trump. Were you implying the JFK assassination there? Well, kind of. Are you implying that LBJ was involved with the Kennedy incident? Well, I shouldn't say that, but you do some digging, you realize, hey, wait a minute, there are some details here that, yeah. Not good. Not good at all. I'm not saying he was involved, but there were some question marks, to say the least. But either way, you don't want, like, someone like that in the cabinet. Because you know she would try, like, the 25th Amendment to force Trump out of there. And I'm not, again, the JFK stuff is just kind of a joke, but you get the point of what I'm saying. You don't want someone like that in the White House. Anywhere near Trump at all. What's the word on the potential ousting of Mike Johnson? Not happening. I do got good news for everyone. So apparently, Trump told Marjorie Taylor Greene to screw off. Well, let me pull this up here, because this is big. Trump. Let's see here. Well, yeah, so I gotta find this, and apparently, Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene are not happy with each other. Or at least Trump isn't happy with, Trump. Or Trump's not happy with Greene. Yeah, right here. From Politico. Okay, found it. Alright. There, found it. Here we go. From Politico. Trump world isn't happy with Greene's threat to throw the House GOP into chaos once again. There's a fear that an election year speakership battle will undercut the party's goals of keeping the White House, or keeping the House and flipping the White House and Senate. 100% distraction, unwanted, and just stupid. One Trump insider said Wednesday night. We're not going to get trapped into the cycle of bullshit that comes out of members of the White House. It's fair to say we don't think she's being constructive. Another person close with Trump said about Greene. The internal fighting is not appreciated by Trump. I hope this is the end of Greene, because freaking finally these people realized, hey, this is not the same Marjorie Taylor Greene from 2020. This is the schizophrenic one that's not good on the issues. That's just trying to be what McCarthy's, you know what? I'm glad that Trump is finally starting to get involved here and saying, hey, or at least his people are, they're saying, no, don't oust Johnson again. I'm not a fan of the FISA stuff, but the conference wanted it. It was one of those garbage bills that he was going to have passed either way. It's time to accept Marjorie Taylor Greene as a schizo. Yeah. She was always kind of out there, but at least with 2020 Greene, you can deal with it. You know, at least you can live with it and say, okay. At least Greene then, she was good on the issues. She understood the base. She wanted the immigration moratorium. But now, Taylor Greene is just doing what McCarthy wants her to do. Because that's her boyfriend. That's the rumor, at least. But, I mean, with how she acted, I would not be surprised if that's the case. Gabriel Stewart for 5. DeSantis raising for Trump now, and his name is relevant still, so I could see him make a comeback for 28. Also, I'd be fine with Holly/Vance ticket. Yeah, he's trying to make a comeback, but it's too late, I think. As for Holly and Vance ticket, I like Holly, but I don't see him running. Vance? Maybe. Maybe. Rap, I predicted 2020 presidents would probably be won by a Trumpian candidate. Of course. Now you think it's going to be a red wave then. Yeah, sure, buddy, sure. Reach a run for the lieutenant governorship and retire. I agree. Run against Brian Kemp, actually. Yeah, see how well that goes. I would vote for Kemp in that scenario. At least with Kemp I can live with. Okay, he's not the best, but at least he's gonna would be an okay senator and be decent on the issues. Again, that's Kemp probably going to run for the Senate seat, but Taylor Greene, this is turning to Mo Brooks 2.0. I have that sick feeling. I don't want it to, but look what happened to Mo Brooks. After Trump revoked his endorsement of him, he lost his frickin' mind. And now he's just a partisan Democrat, basically. I see DeSantis running again. He just won't get the nomination. Yeah, he just won't. He has no pathway to the nomination's done. His political future's dead. There's no mythical, mysterious, pathway he can take. He's done. He needs a miracle. So, update the Nebraska winner take all. Jim Pillen has a plan to get rid of the Democrat filibuster. I did hear something about that. That is true. Apparently, they're going to try to change the rules in Nebraska so they can just get rid of the filibuster and say, well, we're going to do whatever the hell we want. We're going to pass this without Democrats. Screw you. We don't need your support. Young could be a good option for 28. It's not going to happen. I think if he did good in 2023, I think he would have had a better shot. It's not, the state house races, they're not the biggest in the world, but if he would have been the Republican to take back Virginia, not just at the governorship level, but the state legislator, like the state senate, the state assembly, all of it, or House of Commons, or whatever it's called, what's the house called at Virginia? I can't remember, but point is, at that point in time, he would be seen as the savior of the Republican Party. He saved the Virginia Republican Party. But now you can argue, well, did he really? Maybe not. If they got rid of the filibuster, it would pass right. Oh, yeah. They would have just enough votes if they got rid of it. Do you think Matt Gaetz will be Florida governor in 2026? It's either him or Donald's. The filibuster in state legislators is pretty stupid. I agree. I think it should just be a quorum for state legislators like Wisconsin. Well, every state has it. Like, remember when those Texas Democrats left the state? they fled to D.C., to the swamp, because of voter rights or something? Like, that's the way to do it. Not just, oh, well, we're not going to vote on this. No. In the Senate, yeah, that makes sense. But the state legislator, I'm not a big fan of it. Especially a deep red state. You freaking kidding me? You have a filibuster when you have a supermajority? Get the hell out of here. Godsmack Air 69 for 10. Good. I'm sick of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Large Marge. And seeing her nasty mug in my related feed. Honestly, look at her face and look at the face of Horace. Tell me if you can spot a difference. I honestly can't. Well, I'm not going to go that far against Greene, but Greene is not good anymore. She served her purpose for 2 years, and that's about it. We got to deal with this ASAP, because can you imagine if Greene somehow won the Senate primary against Brian Kemp? Oh, good Lord. That would not be good. Having her in the Senate, if she wouldn't win, she would get crushed by 30 points, but can you imagine Greene in the Senate? She's there for 6 years, and they can't do a damn thing about it. Nothing would get done, which sometimes that's good, but you know damn well it would be something important like immigration bill. She would filibuster it for 5 hours or 5 weeks or something. In what way is Mo Brooks a partisan Democrat? Look at what he's said about Trump. He should be thrown in jail. He doesn't need a jury. He's lost his freaking mind. Filibuster in a supermajority. Cough, cough, Nebraska. Yeah. There's no reason for it in a deep red state. So, Boebert is the same way. Used to be good, but now beyond cringe and unbearable. Well, at least with Boebert, she still votes good. Greene, she's just... Do you guys see that, by the way? Speaking of her voting record, Greene complained about the FISA, I should say, not FISA. She said, well, this bill is awful. We have to oust Johnson because he supports it. The same vote. She voted yes, or I should say, she supported the same motion, I think it was, that she complained about Johnson supporting. You can't make this up. She's so full of it. She's doing it for attention. She doesn't care about the Republican majority. She cares about two things: fundraising and trying to screw Johnson over. That's what it comes down to. She wants attention because for the first time ever, no one was talking about Green because she was becoming more irrelevant. But suddenly, she is back in the news. Unfrickin' believable. Imagine the outrage if Trump only wins thanks to Nebraska changing the law. Oh, there'll be lawsuits. Lawsuits like crazy. But find a way to just win Nebraska second and be done with it. Not gonna happen, but would be funny. I would say Virginia silently, not slowly zooming right. We gotta see. Imagine, read that. Mo Brooks, for whatever reason. Hold on. Wait, what about Mo Brooks? Oh, I read that. Jim Pillen basically told the legislator, screw you, I'll do it myself. I hope he does. I mean, Jim Pillen is very underrated. I'll give him that. And I support Herbster for the memes. Alright. If anyone got any more super chats, any more questions, concerns, comments, begin sending them now. Marjorie Taylor Greene would probably call Ossoff a Jewish slur on the debate stage if she was the nominee. Oh, 100%. She's just insane. Can you imagine her against Jon Ossoff? She would get wiped off the map. She would lose by like 30 points. I'm not even kidding. Would you really be surprised if she lost like Cherokee County? Would you be surprised at R plus like 30 County? Gabriel Stewart for 2. I prefer Youngkin for senator in 2026. More sense. Well, the thing with Youngkin 26 for the Senate seat is it's not happening. I think he would have ran in 24 if he wanted to run for the Senate. He might still want to, but who knows? Did you see the new Florida GOP primary poll? Yes. And Republicans want Donalds, I think. That's actually a fascinating choice. Really thought it was going to be Gates, but I guess that makes sense. You know, Donalds, I think, is more liked with everyone. Well, Gates has more support with, like, the MAGA base. While Donalds, you know, he's obviously MAGA, but you know what I'm saying. You know, Donalds definitely has more support with everyone. It's more widespread. Jim Pillen still took a massive L during the corrupt deal to appoint Ricketts into the Senate. Oh, I agree. That was stupid. You should not be allowed to virtually sell the Senate or the governorship so you could be appointed to the Senate. That was dumb. That should be illegal, but sadly it's not. Sadly it's not. Who should run for Virginia governor 2025? The Attorney General. Easy. Hey, Rap, what do you think about the New Hampshire governor's race? I would say we're probably going to lose. You know, it is New Hampshire down ballot. It could be more Republican, but the problem is it is zooming to the left. You have a bunch of people from Boston moving there. It's not good. We got to see, though. But I think I'm going to end the stream here. If you guys did enjoy this stream, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you all so much for watching. I think we've went through everything. Yeah, I think so. Why did the betting market swing towards Biden recently? I think that just, it's being predicted. They do this crap every year. But, yeah. We'll see you guys in the next stream, video, or wherever you see me from.